What is going on, guys? PUBSFANHAN back again for a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video, and I am really excited today for what I have for you. This is potentially going to be a new video series. I'll let you determine that. Let me know if you want to see this become a regular series on my channel, but today I'm going to be talking about the anti-meta. These are going to be 5 teams that I'm going to show you that work against the top meta teams that finish at least in the top 50 at the bare minimum. And they're all going to be compositions that are not meta.
Nope. So
we're not going to be dealing with the Commander Luke Skywalker teams, with the General Kenobi BARRISS teams, with the Jedi Rey BB-8 teams that are very typical. We might have some of those characters in there, but we're going to be seeing characters that you really don't see very much. Me personally, all of the compositions I'm going to show you in this video, I have never seen in my personal shard. My shard might be a bit boring. For those of you in my shard watching, come on guys, let's shake it up a bit. We have pretty much only meta compositions in my top 50. But these guys are running some teams that I think are super noteworthy, and so I want to bring them to your attention, talk through a little bit about what the compositions are, maybe how they work, and just walk through them. So without any further ado, let's get to them. The first team that I'm going to be breaking down for you is the Murder Bears. We've got Chirpa, Wicket, Paplo, somebody yell at me for not saying that right, Logray, and Ewok Elder. And this is my buddy Bob Musini, who is filming this footage. I have also seen this work with Fulcrum Ahsoka Tano. This is pretty notable. A lot of people sub her in instead, or I guess not a lot of people, but some guys will sub in her for Ewok Elder instead. And this gives, what's really good about this is Logray can give days early in the battle, and then if you go nuts with these buffs enough, then you're going to be able to load Fulcrum up so that she is able to do a massive whirlwind. And from what I have read and seen about this composition, you are able, with Fulcrum, you are able to get to the max 12 buffs there in a lot of cases. However, Ewok Elder does seem to work better on defense, and if you watch how this battle unfolds at the beginning there, they didn't get to go very quickly. They're kind of coming from behind, but these Ewoks are just, they're able to just really synergize well together. This is a Zeta Chirpa in the leadership, which leads to a lot of assisting. The biggest complaint I have, I guess, with this footage is that I'm not able to show the sound effects for you because Bob Musini here had the music playing, which is going to lead to copyright issues if I have that playing in the background. But I love all of the sound effects. I was talking to, let's see, I was on McMole's channel, and he actually mentioned, he's the one who first got me thinking about Ewoks because he had that Chirpa Zeta ranked pretty highly. And we talked about those sound effects and how fun those are. But anyway, Ewok Elder is going to add to the survivability of this team. You'll see here, he doesn't even end up needing to use a revive, and they just pick apart this this meta Commander Luke Skywalker team. My only question for this team is I'd like to see how they do against the Jedi Rey compositions. We are seeing them against kind of the old Titan team, which was Commander Luke and THRAWN and Raid Han, all those guys, General Kenobi. And I'm not sure how well it would perform against them, but man, you look at these Ewoks here, we're at the end of the battle now. It's just Commander Luke and them. They just went tribal on him, and they have almost, let's see, nobody has lost health. Most of them have full protection. Let's see, Ewok Elder has almost no protection left, but other than that, it's really not going to be that close of a match. So that is the Ewoks. They are team number 1. Believe it or not, the Ewoks actually do work in the meta. Alright, moving on to team number 2, and this is from my buddy D. Wayne from PvP Elite. He is running Rey with R2BB8, Imperial Probe Droid, and Chopper. And who would have thought that this many droids would work that well? But it totally works. And look at this. He's going to do this battle on auto against one of the top defensive teams in my opinion, which is Rey, Old Ben, BB-8, R2, and General Kenobi. Now, it's not a full auto. He does still have that target lock on there, but this battle goes super fast. And I'm going to mention here, this is actually one of the stronger defensive teams I have heard of. At least in his shard, it is holding very well. He is only falling to 12 at the most. I mean, with my team, I'm falling down into the 30s every day. Now, my shard's a bit older. I'm a launch shard, and his shard is a November 2016 shard, so that could be making a difference here. But wow, going from only 1 to 12 every day, that would be really nice. Sign me up for that crap. That's super cool. Now, you're going to notice in this battle that BB-8 is going to be able to use Illuminated Destiny several times, and these droids just work super well together. We don't even need Imperial Probe droid in there to do his self-destruct, but he's going to work very well to have that dispel going on, so you're going to keep those buffs off the other team. Chopper's going to do the same. R2-D2 is going to do very well at burning them, and we're going to have Rey there for damage and synergy with BB-8. And look at this. I mean, this isn't even close. We don't have, let's see, does anybody even have protection off? And the battle is just dominated. Very cool team. Go ahead and check it out, guys. All right, team number 3 is going to use NUTE Gunray. That's right, NUTE Gunray, and you've seen rumors. You've heard rumors of NUTE being used, and this is going to be another auto team. This is my boy Vague, and he is running NUTE with R2, Acolyte, Zombie, and Leia. And I am personally a huge fan of this combination, and let me tell you why. This is going to use that Night Sister mechanic of basically hiding Zombie in the corner and having Acolyte stealth, but it's going to add to that stealth. You're going to have Leia here, who is also stealthed, and while that stealth is going on, NUTE's leader ability, who you really don't need NUTE in the battle for long. You're going to notice here he's already taken out of the battle. He got fractured early. This guy doesn't care. I mean, first of all, it's an auto. But second of all, NUTE's leader ability is still in effect, and his leader ability is going to give 55% crit chance and 50% turn meter to all stealthed allies. That's 50% turn meter on the first crit hit of the allies' turn. So look at that benefiting Leia, look at that benefiting Acolyte. They're going to be able to get a lot of turns here. You're pretty much going to lose R2-D2 and NUTE right away, and then Leia and Acolyte are basically just going to pick apart the other team super quickly while Zombie dies over and over and over again. That stealth is going to be very sustainable because Acolyte is going to be able to regain that stealth on her basic ability, and Leia's obviously going to be able to gain it on her special ability. And you can see here, it looked like this battle was going to be dominated against them, but because they can only attack Zombie, you're going to be in good shape to win these battles. In this case, it can do it on auto. What you do want to watch out for if you're going to run this team is probably Chase teams, because that Dispel or other team, maybe Imperial Probe Droid teams, if those start popping up, because they are going to be able to dispel that stealth, and you could be in trouble. However, if you have R2-D2 in this team, Acolyte, and Leia, there's a lot of opportunity for re-stealthing there. So even with that Dispel, I think you'd probably at least be okay on offense. Defense, it might be a bit more of an issue. Very cool team. Cool to see NUTE's leader ability working so well with Night Sister, Zombie, Acolyte, and even, why not Leia? Alright, looking at our 4th team, this is from my boy Darth Seagulls, and Darth Seagulls, it was actually his idea to do a video like this, and you can see why, because he is running a very anti-meta team here with Boba Fett. Boba Fett in the leadership position, ASAJJ, Ventress, Royal Guard, THRAWN, and BARRISS. So THRAWN and BARRISS are obviously probably considered meta characters at this point, so they are in this composition, but to see ASAJJ, Boba, and Royal Guard utilized together, very cool to see. Now, a couple disclaimers on this team. First of all, he does struggle a bit against Rey Jedi training teams. If he's able to take out BB-8 early enough, it tends to not be much of an issue. But if BB-8 is able to be stealthed by R2 and he has a hard time getting there, then he does struggle to win those battles. However, he is able to manage pretty much every other team with this composition. Darth Seagulls is in a year-old shard, and he typically falls to about 20 or 30 overnight. Now, this team, what I really like about this team is it's really about offensive control. You've got a lot of offense here, first of all. Boba Fett is going to be able to execute which also dispels, which is very cool, and ASAJJ Ventress, who also has a dispel, is going to work very well offensively. And you're going to be able to manipulate the field of play with Fracture and Stunning with Royal Guard here, which is really nice, but also control the buffs on the other side quite a bit. And what Darth Siegels was telling me he always does, and you see it in this battle here, he will wait to use ASAJJ for her Dispel once R2-D2 has that smoke screen applied, because then you're going to be able to just wipe that smoke screen out right away and attack who it is that you personally need to go for. Now, you're going to want to make sure, because these battles, you're going to notice here a big weakness I see about this team is these battles do go pretty long. You can see here we're already 2 minutes into the battle, and there's still 4 characters standing on the other side. Now, it does seem like he's thinking through his decisions here. It might be taking him a little longer than usual, but that is definitely going to be pretty notable against some of these meta teams. But that said, it does work. Barriss is able to contribute to the survivability of the team. You're going to want to make sure that Boba is able to execute people so that he can gain that Bounty Hunter's buff back so that he can have that survivability. But at the end of the day, this team does work. He is able to win, and it's really cool to see Boba Fett and ASAJJ. It's just something very unique that does work at the top. Alright, and finally we have the Jedi Order team. We've got Qui-Gon Jinn, Ezra, General Kenobi, Old Ben, and Hermit Yoda. And this is from my buddy Luke TW. And Luke actually got the idea to run Jedi when I did a Jedi in the Arena video a couple months ago. And so here he is actually doing it in practice. And I love seeing this, not just because I'm a Jedi lover, but because it's fun to see teams work on the test account. But that's more theoretical, you know, it's kind of ideals. I'm able to, you know, go against teams that are, it's not the live game, so to speak. So seeing it in the live game is very, very cool to see. Now, Luke is in a launch shard as well. This shard is very experienced, so it's going to work. It's very cool to see it working well in a shard that experienced. He does fall pretty low with the Jedi. He falls down to about 35. Now, to keep it in perspective here, that's not altogether uncommon for experienced shards, even with some of the best teams. I know I see guys in my shard that finish first every day regularly falling down into the 30s. It's just kind of a byproduct of being in a shard that is very experienced. So don't let that phase you too much. Of course, we'd all love to only fall down to 3 every day, but sometimes it's just not going to happen. What's really cool about this team is watching the Jedi work very well with both Hermit Yoda and Qui-Gon Jinn. That stealth is really nice to see. Anytime somebody dies, you're going to have that stealth buff pop up. A big weakness I see in this team is Qui-Gon Jinn outside of his leadership ability. Now, what's great about Qui-Gon Jinn is he does have good DPS. He's going to have Dispel. He's going to be able to call an assist on his first special. However, he's very squishy, and he is going to be the only character in this battle that ends up dying. So, now, that doesn't mean the battle is necessarily close, but it is notable that that he was the one that did get offed. He's very squishy. And another weakness is you're basically going against 4 characters here. Whenever you put Hermit Yoda in there, you only need to kill 4, and the battle is done. Now, I haven't seen that to be that big of a disadvantage, but it is worth noting. A big weakness of this team as well is that it does not perform well against Jedi raid teams yet. Luke TW did tell me he was having a hard time beating those Jedi raid teams, but what he's been doing instead when he faces them is he throws Akbar and THRAWN in instead, and Akbar even has low gear. He kind of wants Akbar to die so that he is out of that battle, and so Ezra is the one being called to assist, or Old Ben when there's a special ability used that is not an attack. So that is notable, what he's doing against those Jedi raid teams. Alright guys, that rounds out our first episode of the Anti-Meta. Do you guys want to see episode 2? If so, let me know down in the comments below. And what I have going on right now is I have a Discord server. Go ahead and join it if you haven't already. And like my Bag of Questions series, I got a whole channel devoted to this now. It's just called the Anti-Meta Teams, and you are able to go on that channel yourself if you are running a team or a friend of yours is running a team that is working in the meta in the top 50 against teams that are considered meta, then you can comment in there and say, hey, PUBSFANHAN, I'm running this team. This is a video footage of it, and then you can have a chance to be featured in the next video. If you guys want to see that on a regular basis, then let me know in the comments below, and I will be on the hunt for more anti-meta teams, teams that work against the current meta that are not utilizing very many meta characters. I like to see as little as possible. I love seeing the Ewoks working. I love seeing the Jedis working, that kind of thing. So let me know. As always, guys, thank you so much for the support. If you did like the video, of course, hit that thumbs up button, like, comment, share, subscribe, all of that jazz. And don't ever forget
my dead body.